Welcome back to Games Revealed. I'm James and also Spring, and we are one. Today I want to talk about this little device called the Iron Odin, and this is the Pro version. There's a base version, there's technically a light version too. This is a good little device. I quite like it, and there's a lot you can do, but there's a lot you can't do, and there's definitely a couple of things I don't know. We'll get into some recommendations towards the end, but make sure to watch the whole video to just decide if this is something you want or something similar to what you want. So, but before we get into it, make sure to like and subscribe. Bash that bell with your crowbar. Now, let's get into it. Let's start out with some specs. Now, this is an Android-based device. Just put that out there. So you're going to hear the CPU, and you're going to be like, is it Intel? Is it an AMD? No, it's neither. It's a Qualcomm Snapdragon SD845, a little bit older chip. And then with this version, the Pro version, it is the quad-core Cryo Gold, and it's at a 2.8 gigahertz speed with 256 kilobyte L2 cache on that. And then its GPU is an Adreno 630 787 megahertz GPU. It does get a little sluggish on some games, but it does a good job on a lot of other things, and I'll let you know what this device really is good at. It's not going to replace your PC. Steam Deck can essentially replace your PC technically. This is not one device that I would recommend. This is definitely an Android device that does Android gaming and streaming and emulating really well. In the RAM, it's 8 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM. This is on the Pro. If you got the base, it's 4 gigs. And then storage-wise, it has 64, 128, and 256 gigabyte versions. I got the 128 gigabyte, and honestly, that's really all you need, in my opinion, for this. And it also has the ability to put in an SD card, and also has this mini HDMI. Also, hardware-wise, like it has a 3.5 audio jack, and then it has a USB-C slot right here. Just one, just like the Steam Deck, but it's at the bottom like the Switch. The screen is 1080, 6 inches, essentially. The spec says 5.98 inches, but it's essentially 6 inches. Fingerprint magnet, as you can see. It's an IPS LCD with touch, so it's honestly, this thing's a lot like an Android phone, but with some extra added pieces that the software brings. It also has a 16 by 9 ratio, 369 ppi screen, so it's pretty good. Honestly, I think it's not a bad screen than a Dragon Trail glass. Then, like I said, it has that mini HDMI. It also has support for it has a dock over here that I'll show towards the end of the video. That allows you to hook up 2 devices to this thing, which I don't know why you'd want to. Mainly, you'd be hooking up one TV. The audio it has 2 speakers at the bottom. They're not the best. Honestly, you're going to be just fine. If you really do need that extra audio, you're going to want to use the Bluetooth 5.0 spec that it has. So you can hook up your Bluetooth device, or you can use the audio jack at the bottom to hook up a headphone. Its Wi-Fi is 2.4 or 5 gigahertz. Wi-Fi enabled with support for AB, GN, and AC types. The battery is a 6600 milliamp battery, and it has quick charging and all that other good stuff. It is an older version of Android at version 10, which is kind of honestly a frustrating thing for me. But those are the specs of this. It's a pretty decently spec'd device for the price of about $280. I got my bundle and everything, I think, for around $310, but I also did the Indiegogo campaign, which usually discounts things. With that, the device itself, buttons-wise, has the joysticks, which are the shorter, lower-profile joysticks that you tend to find on these really ultra-portable handheld gaming devices. It has the D-pad over here that clicks down. I'm not a fan of this type of D-pad. I like it a little bit more of a give, so it's softer, like the Ayaneo Air and Steam Deck. The buttons also over here are kind of small comparatively to the Steam Deck, but this is meant to be a low-profile device, so I'm not going to really knock it for that. They are a little clicky, where I like a little bit more mushiness, and then that's just me, though. and then the joysticks aren't perfect, but they're not bad. Honestly, they're not too bad. I like them, but I'm not the biggest fan of low profile, so I haven't decided if I like these over the Eye Air yet. It has the start select over here, and then the back has additional buttons that you can map through their software. It also has a fan intake over here, and an outtake right here. And it's honestly, I don't know if it matters much. In some games, you can kind of hear it rev up, but it does an okay job. Let's just say that. It's there. It does okay, and it's nice to have, but yeah. It also has the triggers. You got L1, R1, L2, R2, and you have the power button up here, the audio right here, and like I said, you have the SD card and also the extra audio or the extra video output right here. USB-C can also do video output, which is what I use with the dock. This device is honestly, if you're an Android gamer, you play a lot of games, this might be good for you. Even though a lot of games, this is my gripe, a lot of games do not work well with this controller, even with the mapping. Some games just don't support this very well. It does come with a mapper where if the touch screen, you have those games that have the touch layout where you can tap to move around, other side to or on this side, I guess, you push down to get, actions to jump and all that. You have a mapper though, and this comes with it. And this mapper is really nice. Honestly, I think the software on this is really good, and it's a pretty decent. Now, it did fail me when I was trying to do PlayStation Remote, which you can do with this, and that's another really nice thing about this device. It is perfect for remote play and also for emulators and old school games. This is where it really shines. Like I said, though, the mapper failed me with the PlayStation Remote. I couldn't get it to, I mapped the keys. I was able to run around a little bit, but they wouldn't go away. So it just blocked my view the whole time of what was mapped. I mapped other games. They were fine, but for some reason, the PlayStation Remote just had issues with that. And there was no way, it was a bug. There was no way to dismiss it. The mapper will work for just emulator stuff and all that. It plays, you can see right here, it has Android Home. It also has its own launcher that you can go into once you've downloaded a bunch of stuff. You can go in here and just select the games you want to play. You can add them to your home screen. And it has an overlay when you're playing with games that you can swipe over and get into and customize whether or not is to ramp up that, because you can make the fan silent so it never runs, just like a normal phone. You're going to drop performance with that. Also, the battery on this is pretty decent, honestly, compared to other devices that I've played with that can do similar things. This is lacking power, but the battery lasts long enough to play plenty of games for a good long while. I can't say for sure how long it lasts, as I played this in 1 to 2 hour increments, but it felt a lot like a phone length when playing games. You might get a little bit more with a phone, but this device is a budget device. Also, it emulates games pretty decently up to about PS1, PS2. I never tried it really past the PS2, as I just don't think this is going to do PS3. It's not going to do Xbox 360 games. It's not going to do a lot of that stuff. The emulation to get it started is really easy. I will have to say, getting an emulator on this and playing the games on this was easier than the other devices, like on Windows and Steam OS with the Steam Deck. I think it was easy because you can go to the Play Store and download the emulator, and then you just need to have a ROM responsibly gotten, and you just reference it in there, and it just runs. It's just really easy. You can put it on an SD card and just play it. You can also reference it from your Google Drive or somewhere else. So it's really easy to share amongst your main PC and this, and if it retains its save state, you can really, honestly, on the go, play games or play them on your PC. It's really easy. It's really nice. And it is much easier to set this up than something like the Steam Deck. Setting up syncing of those types of files is a little bit more tricky. This just has the Google app. And that's the thing. This is an Android device. It has apps. You can easily sync up or download all the apps that you've played in the past, play games and all that. It's just some games work great, some games don't. The games that do work good are pretty standard action-based games that are popular on this device. So yeah, you honestly, I think you're gonna have a lot of fun if you're an Android gamer. Also, if you like streaming your existing consoles, you're going to have a great time. Or if you want to play some of those old classics like on N64, you're going to have a great time. With that, some Android games will play decent, but I've noticed that some just you get the 30 frames per second, and that's what you get, and it will drop sometimes. It's definitely it's lacking some power, but it is an amazing emulator for old school games. It is amazing at remote play if you can get the PlayStation Remote Play 1 to work. But what I've been able to get work, it works great. And then also you can watch your videos. And then a secret. This is the one thing I love about this over any other portable gaming device is that I love picture-in-picture mode. I like that I can get into my YouTube app, bring it down, watch it in the corner while playing a game. Because usually with these types of devices, I play casual games. I'm fine with being able to watch something while doing it or listening to something while I do it. I like the multitasking maybe a little bit too much. But that is the secret that I found in this that I love was that picture-in-picture, and I want it on the Steam Deck. I want it on the INEO. Okay, and then that is the device. This is the thing that came out that I think is inspiring more and more docks that are coming out for like the Steam Deck, is that you can get a dock with it. And this dock is pretty nice. It has this little removable plastic piece. So if you don't want it to, save your screen a little bit in case someone or something rubs against it, it can help. It could also potentially add scratches, not going to lie. Like, it feels a little like questionable at times. It does have the N64 and GameCube slots. So if you have a controller, you can hook that up and play some of those old school games. Also, it has USB slots, which I have SNES controllers, Bluetooth controllers hooked up into it, and it works great that way. I played some of my NES games with those controllers, and it is multiplayer. You also have this mini HDMI right here, which hooks into the tops one with a cord, and this then enables the side HDMI. This back HDMI is by default, I believe, with the USB-C. When you plug it in, you get this and 3 USB and the Ethernet. This is the power delivery. It can be used with the included power adapter, which honestly seems really nice, and it has a little bit extra oomph than something like the Steam Deck for this type of device. Then the secret little compartment back here, this little light, why is it so big? Why is it triangle? This has a hard drive slot for it. A 2.5 hard drive can fit into there. It's like a laptop style hard drive that you can slap into this bad boy and have extra space whenever you insert the device. So you can put your extra emulators, extra media devices, and just anything else you can use that for. I love the dock, and I think we're getting an inspiration for Steam Decks, docks that, thank you, Odin. Like, honestly, Ian, you guys killed it with the dock. The device itself is good enough. It is thin, thinner than like any other device that I'm going to review for a little while, I think. But with that also comes, it's not as powerful. Now, who do I recommend this to? I recommend this to, like I've said, anyone that wants to play Android games or wants to remote play from, you can remote play on your Steam account, like your PC, there's apps for PlayStation, I believe for Xbox, I believe for a lot of things you can remote play. There's even cloud services you could potentially run on this too. And then also emulators, a little bit older school emulators, not any of the newer stuff, like definitely couldn't do Switch or forget about PS4 or Xbox One. I mean, those are a lot more difficult anyways, even for any gaming handheld. But you're going to have to forget about that. This is going to be a great device if you do like those emulators, if you do like remote play, if you need a little bit more oomph, and if you do want to play those Android games. This might be the device for you. But recommendation-wise, like, is it your go-to? Is it the one I recommend? It is not. I do like it. I think it's a nice device. I still think the Steam Deck or even the newer Loki potentially coming out in some of these newer devices with the AMD 6800 is going to be the go-to. So I would, if you just want to do basic gaming on the go, there are going to be better options coming out or already out than this. But there are still some really sweet features that are in this that I definitely think you'll like if you can just get past some of the quirks, which Android, an older version of Android, albeit, is one of them. You get so many good apps with it. So with that, let me know in the comments below what you think. Did you think this is a device worth looking into getting? Are you just gonna keep on going with the Steam Deck? What do you think? I want to know. Is this device worth it? What could it do better? Let me know in the comments below. Do you like this device? Is this something you'd get? Is this something you'd think about getting? Is this something that, no, you're going to pass, you're going to stick with your Steam Deck if you're watching this, from a Steam Deck, or you have your Steam Deck? Or what does it need to be a part of it to sell you? I'm kind of curious. With that, watch my other videos. Also, check out the description below, all the goodies down there. And thank you guys for watching. Peace out. Later.